Have you ever imagined that deep within the untouched jungle, where few humans dare to go, there exists a flower so strange that just hearing its name can send chills down your spine? A flower with no stem, no roots, and no leaves, yet it weighs nearly 10 kilograms and can grow over a meter wide. A flower so bizarre, it reeks of death. No, you're not imagining it. This monstrous flower actually exists. It's called Rafflesia arnoldii, the infamous corpse flower. But this isn't just some biological horror story. It's a vivid, jaw-dropping reminder of just how wild and ruthless nature can be. A living organism that doesn't photosynthesize, doesn't have leaves to breathe, or roots to drink. A true parasite in every sense. It hides, waits, and survives in silence for years. Just to bloom once, for only 7 to 10 days. So what makes Rafflesia so special? Why would a flower choose to smell like rot just to attract insects? And is there a deeper message hidden inside that stench of decay? Something nature has been trying to tell us all along? Join me, someone who has spent years studying tropical plants, as I take you into a story that's rarely told. The strange and unforgettable story of the world's most mysterious flower. Most of us grow up learning that plants need sunlight, water, and rich soil to survive. But Rafflesia is one of the rare species that breaks every rule in the book of botany. Rafflesia arnoldii is like a living shadow. It does nothing on its own. It hides inside the vines of a tropical host plant called tetrastigma, a type of climbing vine found throughout the rainforests of Southeast Asia, in places like Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. For most of its life, it's invisible, quietly existing like a parasitic cell embedded deep inside its host. Then one day, no one knows exactly why, the blooming begins. A bud slowly pushes its way out of the vine, like a tumor erupting from a healthy branch. And when it finally opens, it reveals something that looks like the gaping mouth of an alien creature, massive, dark blood red, covered in pale white speckles, and reeking of rotting meat. Why on earth would any living thing choose to smell absolutely disgusting? The answer: seduction. Believe it or not, this flower is incredibly smart, at least in a biological sense. Instead of competing with millions of other flowers using bright colors or sweet nectar, Rafflesia takes a very different path. It lures in carrion flies and dung beetles, the kinds of insects that seek out dead, rotting animals to lay their eggs. Just like a store that knows exactly what to sell, to exactly the right customer. Rafflesia taps straight into the instincts of these insects. In the first few hours after blooming, the stench is at its strongest. Filled with chemicals like cadaverine and putrescine, the very same compounds that give decomposing bodies their signature smell. Here's a fascinating story. A German scientist once placed a blooming Rafflesia next to the rotting corpse of a bird that had been dead for 3 days. The result? More flies swarmed around the flower than the actual dead bird. A perfect example of nature's greatest trick. The art of deception. This is the part that breaks the hearts of many biologists, myself included. Rafflesia takes an average of 5 to 7 years just to bloom a single flower. And once it does, it only lasts for 7 to 10 days before it begins to decay. Can you imagine that? Years of waiting. All for a moment so brief it can vanish as if it never existed at all. That's why so few people ever witness a Rafflesia bloom in the wild. I still remember the first time I saw one, in Gunung Luser National Park, Indonesia. Our group hiked through the jungle for 3 days to catch it at the perfect moment. There were no birds singing, no dramatic fanfare, just a haunting stench in the air, and a moment I will never forget. Even though the smell of Rafflesia makes most of us instinctively cover our noses. For some indigenous communities in Southeast Asia, this flower was once considered a treasure. When it bloomed, people would gather in large numbers just to see it. Not out of curiosity alone, but out of reverence. Some indigenous groups believed that this flower held healing powers, especially for women recovering after childbirth, or as a tonic to boost vitality. Because of those beliefs, people would seek out the flower and harvest it for traditional medicine. Over time, this practice led to a sharp decline in Rafflesia populations in the wild. And as if that weren't enough, the damage has only been made worse by deforestation, climate change, and the rapid spread of urban development. Today, organizations like WWF and several national parks have launched conservation programs to protect and propagate Rafflesia. But the challenges remain enormous. Unlike most plants, Rafflesia can't be grown from seeds in a nursery. It requires a very specific host, a healthy tetrastigma vine, and an incredibly stable, undisturbed rainforest environment in order to survive. Rafflesia might make you cringe, but it also commands respect from the scientific world. In nature, nothing is truly useless. The way this flower survives, from parasitizing a host to conserving energy, to using the smell of decay to attract pollinators, is a brilliant example of evolutionary strategy. Plants can't speak, they can't run, or hunt, or build things like we do. But they've developed survival tactics so subtle, so ingenious, that even we, the so-called intelligent species, have taken centuries just to begin understanding them. Rafflesia teaches us this. To exist doesn't mean you have to be like everyone else. Sometimes, being different is the most powerful survival tool of all. Dear friend, if you've ever believed that flowers must be fragrant, colorful, and full of life, then Rafflesia arnoldii will make you think again. Deep in the rainforest, there exists a flower that doesn't smell sweet, doesn't shine with traditional beauty, and yet, it embodies something far more profound. The beauty of adaptation, of resilience, and of nature's raw, unapologetic truth. And if you ever find yourself wandering through the tropical forests of Southeast Asia, try to seek out this flower. Not just to see it, but to feel it, to witness a living reminder of wild nature's soul. Untamed, unfiltered, and unforgettable. You don't have to be a biologist, an environmental activist, or a plant expert to make a difference. All you need is to care. Seedlings share the story of Rafflesia. The more people know about it, the more chances this flower has to survive. Globes support local conservation efforts. You might think your donation or action is small, but when 1,000 people do one small thing, it becomes a powerful movement. Baby, teach the next generation. Show children how to value forests, love the natural world, and understand that not everything has to be pretty to deserve a place on this planet. Doves, slow down. The world is racing forward. But Rafflesia takes 7 years to bloom for just 1 week. Maybe the greatest lessons come not from speed, but from patience. Rafflesia arnoldii, a bizarre flower. Nearly 10 kilograms in weight. Parasitic. And blooming for just a few fleeting days. Has shared with us a strange and powerful story of how nature truly works. But that story isn't complete without your voice. Your thoughts. That quiet feeling stirring inside you right now. So, take a moment, right here, right now, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Herb, what do you think of this strange flower? Does it make you uncomfortable, curious, amazed, or all of the above? Seedling, if you had the chance to witness a Rafflesia bloom, after years of silent growth in the dark, what would you do? Capture it on camera? Bow in awe? Or simply stay still and listen to the rare breath of the forest? Compass, and if you could choose just one species to protect from extinction, which would it be? And why that one? Your words matter. Every comment, no matter how small, helps raise awareness, nurture love for nature, and just maybe, spark the kind of action that can change everything. If you believe this story deserves to be seen by more people, don't hesitate. Hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next strange and fascinating mystery. Leave a like if you think this is a story worth telling. And please, share this video with your friends, your community, or anyone you think might need a moment of stillness. To remember that somewhere deep in the forest, wonders are still happening, and whether they continue to exist or vanish forever is up to us. This is The Strange Mysteries You Never Knew, a place where the unheard stories are told with care, wonder, and respect. And today, that voice, that scent, that image belonged to Rafflesia. Now, the rest of the story is yours to tell.